Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me on today. God bless you as you grow each and every day for a better way. My grandson pointed out to me, the eyes of the trees. The eyes of the trees. We at the park. He way at the other part of the park, and he came to show me and point out to me the eyes of the trees. And I walk around looking at all these trees. These trees do have what look like eyes on them. And then when you look at them, he said, look, some of them have where look like ears. So I'm looking, yep, look like the trees got eyes and ears. The eyes of the trees see nothing. The ears of the trees hear nothing. The bark of the tree scares no one, but the limbs of the tree can hold anything, hold its own fruit, and even strange fruit that no one can eat. But oppression will be beat. We are going to beat oppression. We are going to overcome oppression as a people, as a human race, together, just like birds of a feather flock together, just like the birds. I'm telling you, as they flying, you watching them synchronize, and it's just beautiful watching them go. And then all of a sudden they all turn around and go the other way. They just all decide to go the other way. See, that's how we gonna do. We gonna go with the flow of God, just like the birds do. We can learn a lot from some birds. They have their little biggerings or whatever, but they all fly off together. Birds of a feather flock together, and we gonna flock in love. I'm telling you, honey, that's what God told us to do, just like the birds do. Just watch these birds. I'm looking at thousands and thousands, and they synchronize up in the sky. They all going in one direction. I guess they heading south. I don't know. This birds fly south for the winter is what they say. But, around here, we see birds year round. They didn't get the message to go south. They like it here. Anyway, kings and queens, how you doing? Keeping on with the dream. How you living? What? How you living? What? In living color. We living in living color. We are. We represent all colors of the rainbow. So we gonna grow. We gonna rise in God. I'm telling you, we gonna link up, lock up, rise up in the Lord, honey. Each and every day we got to. We're going to grow anyway. We're going to grow in God for a better way. We're going to be just like the birds, flocking off together in love. That's what God gave us. That's what God told us to do. We here for each other. We here to love and sow love too. As we grow, the things of this world don't mean anything. They don't mean nothing, nothing at all. While you out here in this rat race, running back and forth, trying to get this, trying to have that on this highway of life, honey, none of this means none of that. It don't mean nothing. The oppression can take it away any day. It's oppression all around you. You ain't got to be doing nothing. That's why we got to sow love each and every day. We have to. We got to sow love and drive the evil out. Drive the evil out and make the world great. It ain't about your business, honey. It ain't about what you doing. It's about love. It's about striving every day to reach your greatness in God. No matter what's going on around you, you got to turn and look another way. You got to look at the beauty. Okay. You got to look at, the beauty that's around you. Ain't God good? That's what you got to begin to say. Ain't God good? Give God the praise anyway, as you going through. Because, see, God going to pull you through. God going to make sure you get through. God going to bring you out a warrior on top so you can get a testimony and help somebody else get through. That's why you going through. So you can turn around and show somebody else the way. The way is through God. No, it ain't easy. Nobody ever said it's going to be easy. Walking with God is not easy. It's a lonely journey sometimes, a very lonely journey. You doing it by yourself, but you ain't really by yourself. God is with you. And I get excited. God is with you. The Spirit of the Lord is with you. You are not alone. As you are here going through this battle, the battle ain't yours. You all in the battle. You're in there fighting the spiritual warfare. You fighting so you about to fall up out of there. You about to fall for the slip and fall. You about to get set up. You headed for self-destruction. Pride goes before destruction. Turn around. Come up out of there. I'm trying to help you there. I'm trying to throw you a lifeline. I'm trying to tell you, you in there fighting a battle, and the battle ain't even yours. It belongs to the Lord. You done took over. You just, push God on out the way. I got this guy. Okay, well, you in there doing it, and then you're in there lost like a ship lost in uncharted water. Don't even know where you at. Just lost. Done forgot where you came from. Don't know where you're growing. You don't think you got it going on. Ain't got it going on, honey. You need to have it growing on. Have it growing on in God. Striving each day to reach your greatness for a better way, to show somebody else how to grow. Be the light. Be that light, honey. Be that light. The lighthouse is within you. You are the lighthouse. Show somebody the other way. Show somebody the way to grow. Yeah, the other way. The way to turn around from that spiritual warfare over there and come out the evil way. You don't come out on the short end, because you sure gonna come out on the short end. You ain't gonna come out on the long end, honey. You got to give an account. We got to give an account. We all do. We ain't here just to go through. We not. God wants us to be prosperous, but prosperous. We'll get the word out. God wants us to be prosperous, but not selfish. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about lifting us as a people. We are one human race. And we are here for each other. It's something that somebody can say they don't like you because of your skin color. But at the same time, they can use your heart, your liver, your blood, your plasma. They can use anything that they want to use. They can use a transplant. We that much alike. But you can look at somebody because their skin is different. That means they different than you. That means no. It's no such thing. There's no such thing as white supremacy, honey. They gonna find out. Here go God. God is moving. God is moving. The wind and change direction. A tide is turning. A tide is turning. They can throw away all the history books they want to. Here come God, honey. In God we trust. In God we must grow. We got to grow in God each and every day. We got to get out this spiritual warfare. They trying to take you there. They trying to make you go there. Trying to make you go backwards. Want to go backwards, some of them. Some of them think it's funny to go backwards. He says his free speech to be able to say he wanted a petition for slavery. Well, where is my free speech where I'm supposed to be able to live free from discrimination? Free from hate. Where is that at? Supreme Court? You supposed to be supreme? I'm calling you out. You supposed to be supreme, pass some supreme laws. You supposed to show them that you supreme. Look, you supposed to be a role model for God. You the court. You up there. You supposed to be doing the right thing. You need to turn it around and eliminate hate speech. Eliminate discrimination. Ain't nobody no judge over nobody. We all got to give an account of the judge, the real judge. Here come the judge, the real judge, honey. I'm telling you. And God ain't got to wear no robe. God ain't, God is not, of things. It's not about things. It ain't about this and that. Look, I can walk around with the robe and the collar on all day long. What does it mean? Don't mean nothing. What about the person up under the robe? What about the person in the car? Don't even matter. What about the person who driving the car? Don't matter what kind of car you got. You can drive a bucket. But what about the person who driving the car? What about the heart that's in that car? How you driving down this highway of life? How you running down folks? How you tailgating? Not even going the speed limit, not even going right. Because I will tell you something. As you ripping and running down this road, this highway of life, honey, the lights of time. So you can think you getting ahead all you want to. The lights of time. Slow your road. Don't be so quick to change lanes. Stay in your own lane. Stay over there in your lane where you at. You're doing all right. Just keep growing and keep striving each and every day. It's okay. We gonna make mistakes. That's why pencils come with erasers. We gonna make mistakes, but God knows your heart. Just keep on striving. Just slough off all that old stuff. You ain't what they called you. You a child of God. I got something to tell you. I got a message for you. You a child of God. Keep on growing for the breakthrough. Keep on sowing. That's what we here to do. We ain't hear about the latest gossip, the latest foolishness, all this oppression, depression all around you. Evil here, evil there, evil everywhere. Old McDonald had a farm. Okay, here go the evil's farm right down here with us. Evil here, evil there, evil everywhere. I'm telling you, so we got to grow up over the evil, honey. We got to get over it. We got to grow over it. Greatness reached over oppression through when you ain't gonna live with the evil. You got to grow over it. You can't just live with and deal with the evil, honey. You got to get up out of there. You'll get burnt. You'll get severely burnt. Get up out the evil, honey. Listen, in that haunted house, it was a stove in there, honey. A stove I had to cook on. I don't know how old this stove was. It was an electric stove. Honey, do you know every time the heat come on, every time I go to use the stove, the whole stove heat up. I mean, it's hot, and you get burnt. My daughter found out. I told her to stop using the stove, and she stuck her hand in trying to get something out the oven and burn her hand. But the burn was an image of the woman that was a ghost that we seen in the house. That was she seen in her hand, honey. I got a picture of it. I'm telling you, get out the spiritual warfare, honey. That old evil stove, I used to hate using that thing. The whole thing heat up. You know what? You could cook an egg on that stove, even if you using one burner. The whole stove, will heat up. Just get hot. You can't touch that stove. Don't get near that stove while you cooking. You can't lay no spoon on top of there. The spoon might melt. That thing heat up. That was the spiritual warfare. I'm telling you, that house was full of demons. The stove was possessed, and full of flies. Flies represent demons. They do. They say they for science and all this and that. Okay. But they still represent demons, honey. That's what flies are. They're to steal, kill, and destroy. Whenever you see a fly, you just through. You ready to go. You ready to I'm done. I ain't picnic. No, I can't be out here with all these flies. That's why they came up with this contraption. And I'm going to get me one for next summer, honey. So when I like to sit out, I don't have to be around the flies. But in that house, honey, I had to cover up the food with plastic. I had to cover stuff up after I cooked, to keep the flies away. I'm telling you, they be all on I'm telling you, the flies was terrible, And so, look, that's what I'm saying. That's a representation of evil, honey. And evil all around you. It's all around. But what you got to do, look to the Lord. Turn to God. Turn it over to God. Cause see, you can't fight the battle by yourself. You need God. We need God each and every day. We can't just put God away on a shelf for one day, that's Sunday, and go to the Lord. That's the holy day. Okay, That ain't the holy day, honey. Every day is the holy day. You remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. That's every day. Keep every day holy. Bring God with you. Cause see, that's the only way you're going to get through. That's the only way you going to get through the battle, honey, is with the Lord. Because the battle is God's. You can't go out here and fight the battle on 4, 5, 6 days and then go back to God on one day. You're going to be toe up from the flow up, So now we got to turn around and give it over to God. We had enough. We tired of this stuff. Back and forth in the spiritual warfare, about to slip and fall there. About to get caught up in the setup. You don't think you got a path. Get stepping off in some weeds. You ain't going to find your way up out of there. You going to need God. You step off up in there if you want to. Think you got a clear path. Think you know what to do. Honey, you going to need God. You better come up out of that. That mess you about to get in. I'm going to tell you something, my friend. Somebody told me to deliver this message. You know who? It's time to grow. It's time to sow. It's time to rise. It's time to grow there. Grow there out the spiritual warfare. Get up on cloud 9. You can be what you want to be on cloud 9. Grab God and get up on cloud 9, honey. And don't let nobody take your joy away. Because that's what evil does. Steal, kill, and destroy. Take you out with it. Put that smile on your face and let it set your pace. Don't let evil take you there. Don't let evil get you out of this race, honey. And don't get in the rat race. Look, slow your roll on this highway of life. I'm gonna tell you something. I know I can talk. But listen, that's why I was a bus driver, honey, up there quiet all them years. Just quiet. And listen. Being a defensive driver, I've been a defensive driver all my life, honey. That's what they instilled in us on this highway of life. Look, but this stuff, I'm going to tell you, they taught us how to drive. They taught us, look, you can't just, get mad. You can't do, you represent the company, number one, and then you just can't do it. You got to drive for everybody out there because, you just got to beware, Pause. Yeah, you got the green light, but don't be dead right. You got the green light, honey, but somebody might decide at the last minute to come flying through there. Usually happen. Sit back and wait. Just stop, look, and listen. Stop, drop, and roll out the spiritual warfare. Don't be so quick to jump off in there. Don't be so quick to enter that intersection, honey, because you don't know what may be coming at you. Make sure you look left and right before you go through. See, because that way, God will carry you through. God will get you on through. Yeah, you got the green light, but hold up. The light may change. It may go to yellow where you really need to watch out. So watch out and watch out for the red as it's coming up too. The red is coming, but some folks still like to go on through. So watch out when the red come, no matter who got the red. Just make sure you know who got it. Where the red at? Oh, it's over there. Okay. Well, then I know I should be able to go ahead and go over here, but let me make sure they know they got the red. See, some folks don't know they got the red, and they go ahead and go ahead, and then there you go, out there, I'm telling you, messed up in the flow, messed up the flow of God. So that way, just always beware. I don't just jump off out there. When I see I got the green, I wait and see. Okay, everybody know I got the green. All right, I can go head on. See, because I'm trying to keep it growing on. That's what I'm trying to do. I drive defensively. They instill that in us, honey. To drive defensively. Be aware. You have to drive for everybody out there. You don't know what somebody might do. Coming up on you. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Don't matter if they cross the double yellow line and got out the lane and they ain't staying in their lane. They ain't in the lane of righteousness doing that. Don't look over there. Keep your eyes on the prize, honey, because they want you to look at them anyway. You ain't no telling what you may be looking back at. So just keep your eyes on the prize. Then destination up ahead, greatness. Greatness in God. Destination up ahead, greatness in God. Honey, we got to keep on rolling. Pass me the side. We got to keep growing in God, so I love you. Just like Whitney did. Whitney said, I will always love you. I will always love you too. God is with you. God loves you. So we got to grow. We're going to grow in God. Because God is with you. You're not alone, honey. You are not alone. God loves you. You are a child of God. No matter what. Don't ever forget that, No matter what they say. No matter what they told you. You are a child of God. You are royalty. So walk in royalty. Flock in love. Fly high. Be what you want to be with God on cloud 9. You can do that. That's what they said. That's what the temptation told us. Don't be tempted of evil, though. Don't be tempted of the evil. Be tempted by love. Because, see, that's what they did. They tempted us with love. Told you could be what you want to be on cloud 9. Grab God and go and let God be with thee. Go ahead and go with God. Grow with God each and every day for a better way. What you sow, there you shall reap, honey. So sow love to keep. Harvest is coming up. God wants the harvest. It's coming up, God. It's coming up. We growing in God each and every day. We are growing in God, honey. As the world turns, as the light of God lights on you, grow. As the world turns, sow. As the world turns and the light of God shines on you, grow in God for the breakthrough. I love you, kings and queens. Keep on rising. Keep on keeping with the dream. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world.